Alright, welcome everyone to NizCast. I, of course, am Niz, and you're watching the Dota 2 Canada Cup, where we have one best of three on tap for tonight. It's going to be the winner's bracket semifinals between the North American Rejects and Boreal eSports. Dota 2 Lounge has this at 70% in favor of the North American Rejects. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that. Either way, both of these teams are guaranteed a top 3 finish in the tournament because, well, they got this far. Or sorry, they're the winners can guaranteed a top 3 finish. The winner will go on to the grand finals. Or the winner's bracket finals, sorry. I'm screwing everything up now. Let's just back up. Let's just back all the way up. And start again. So, this is a match between Boreal eSports and the North American Rejects. We are in the winner's bracket semifinals, which is technically the winner's bracket finals. So the winner of this then goes to the grand finals. The loser, well, they'll drop down to the loser's bracket finals, where they'll have one more chance, one shot, one game, one best of one to get their way back into the grand finals. If they lose that, then they're finishing third. So either way, both of these teams guaranteed a top 3 finish. When I said at that time, it made a little bit more sense.
Radiant team ban.
But yeah, the Dota 2 Lounge has this at 70% in favor of the North American Rejects. I think it's going to be a lot closer than that. Of course, we saw the North American Rejects 2-0 wheel in the first round of the playoffs. Then they 2-0'd the defending champions, Summer's Rift, knocking them down to the loser's bracket. And then we saw Boreal 2-0 top 5 in the first round. And then in the second round, they played an incredible series against Not Today. They won that 2-0 as well. But that match was something. And you know what? If you weren't a fan of Boreal eSports and you didn't believe, well, you did after that match, because it was absolutely incredible. Boreal, they played some really good Dota, and that got them here.
10 seconds
Before we get too far on into this, reminder that this is a best of 3, and in our next match, our next cast will be on Saturday. It's a long ways out. It's going to be May 9th, and that'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern between, it's a loser's bracket match, between eHug and Summer's Rift. Of course, like I said, Summer's Rift, the defending champions, and they're down in that loser's bracket fighting best of ones, trying to make it all the way back to the finals. So they'll have to not only win that, but then win 2 more matches just to find themselves back in the grand finals. So they've got their work cut out for them. They lost 2-0 to the North American Rejects to get down there. So we've got quite a tournament set out for ourselves. We're up at $11,827 for the prize pool in the tournament, getting closer and closer to that $12,000. Of course, if you want to contribute to that, you can buy an in-game ticket for $8.99 for the Dota 2 Canada Cup Season 5, and 12.5% of that will go directly back into the prize pool. Well, that's how you can support the teams and the players and, of course, the tournament. And you also get a Sven set and access to all the replays for doing so. And you know what? TI5 compendium's at 5.9 million already, so we can hit 12,000, right? Come on. Either way, let's catch up and get into this draft and try and figure out what's going on. So Boreal eSports opened up the bans with Undying and Wisp. NA Rejects banned out the Visage and the Chen. Then we had the picks Zeus and Clockwork for Boreal, Queen of Pain and Beastmaster for the NA Rejects. Then the next set of bans, Rubik and Leshrak for Boreal, Ursa and Earthshaker were the bans for the North American Rejects. Now we're going to see a Shadow Fiend getting picked up by Boreal.
Radiant team pick.
So I did a little bit of research, because remember, I was a little bit surprised by Undying first pick coming out from... I don't even remember who it was, but either way, the Undying first ban, came out, and I did a little bit of research, and mainly it's Empire running it, but not just them. But either way, I'm a little
10
unsure
seconds
about the
remaining.
pick right now. I know that Undying is strong. I don't think he's that strong of a
5
hero, and I don't
seconds
think that's why
remaining.
teams are mainly afraid of him. I think the reason that teams are afraid of him is because of his versatility and what he does in the draft. And
Dire
he
team
basically,
pick.
with him being on the board, it always threatens the potential of going aggro, but it also threatens the potential of punishing another team by putting them in a dual lane mid. There's so many different ways that you can run the Undying. Tombstone is actually incredibly strong right now as well. It's difficult to wipe out the little ghouls. What are they? Skeletons? I don't even know what comes out of the Tombstone.
10
Zombies.
seconds
Zombies,
remaining.
that's what I think they are. They're of course spell immune, so they can't, like,
5
for
seconds
instance, Queen of Pain couldn't use her Scream of Pain and kill them off, like she used to be able to. So
Reserve time.
they're not really vulnerable to kind of AoE like that, and that makes them a real pain to deal with. So, you know, Undying is an okay hero, but I think his versatility is the thing that teams are scared of the most. And, well, we saw it banned out here by Boreal immediately. But then, like I said, they picked up the Shadow Fiend. Of course, we've seen KVH do some work on that Shadow Fiend in the past.
Radiant
But
team pick.
when you take a look at the NA rejects, they've proven that they're really strong early on in the lanes. And, you know, they're going to pick up a Treant Protector, which is going to help bolster those lanes. Because if you've got a 1v1 matchup in the mid going up against that Shadow Fiend, if it's the Queen of Pain or the Beastmaster, we're still unsure, then that hero can then all of a sudden 1v1 man fight the
10
Shadow Fiend
seconds
because he knows he's
remaining.
got a living armor behind him. And that's obviously going to give the advantage to the hero on the
Dire
side of
team
NA
ban.
Rejects. But now an Anti-Mage is going to get picked up, so NA Rejects very fine with going late in 6.84, as we've seen a little bit of a shift from 6.83 to 6.84, and that
10 seconds.
there's a lot more
remaining.
aggression. A lot of teams moving around, pushing, ganking,
5 seconds
and not
remaining.
so much of the late game carries. However, I think this is one of the things that's great about 6.84, at least
Reserve
right
time.
now, is that there is the option to go kind of push oriented. There is the option to go really gank oriented. Or there is the option to go maybe a little bit later,
Radiant
play some
team
4
ban.
protect 1, and I think that's really awesome that we're seeing all those different strategies really viable right now. It looks like NA Rejects are going to choose to go a little bit later on into the game. Boreal, with the pickup of Sand King, we're still not sure, but we most likely know that
10 seconds remaining.
2 of the cores, Shadow Fiend and Clockwork, are going to be there. We think the Zeus
5
is going to be
seconds
support
remaining.
in that kind of position 5, which is okay for Zeus. Sand King going to be that position
Reserve
4, and then
time.
they're going to look to pick up another their safe laner. Whether they choose to go after NA Rejects in the late game and pick up something that could maybe contest an Anti-Mage, that kind of remains to be seen. But we'll see. Lion was the ban out for Boreal. As for NA Rejects, what their lanes are going to be, well, we don't know between the Queen of Pain and the Beastmaster. Most likely those are going to be 2 solos. Anti-Mage is then going to be farming in the bottom lane with Treant Protector, and they're going to be looking to add another support. And certainly Boreal's ban reflects that as well. There is the off chance that the Beastmaster could be played as support. I doubt that's going to be the case. And now Boreal
Radiant
picking up the
team
Phantom
pick.
Lancer. NA Rejects choosing to ban out the PA, which I find a little bit surprising considering Boreal really likes playing the Phantom Lancer. And that's one of Angry Testy's big heroes. So Boreal picks that up with no hesitation, and the NA Rejects respond without any hesitation either with a Crystal Maiden. The Crystal Lady. I love playing Crystal Maiden, and she's going to get picked up by the NA Rejects, so expect her to be in the jungle a little bit early on, as Treant Protector should be okay to zone out a Clockwork by himself. He does need to be a little bit wary of potentially getting trapped in some cogs and getting some good damage dealt to him by Battery Assault. But of course, I'm sure Chad's going to know that. And it is going to be Jeppins on the Clockwork once again. We saw him do work in that match against No Tidehunter, and we're going to see if
10
he's going to be able to
seconds
do it again.
remaining.
But here we go. We hop on into this, as we've got a best of 3 between the North American Rejects and Boreal eSports. Winner of this
Prepare
best of
for
3
battle.
goes to the grand finals. Loser will drop down to losers bracket finals, where they'll have 1 game to prove that they deserve to be in the grand finals. Otherwise, they're finishing 3rd. But for the North American Rejects, we're going to have Ush playing the Anti-Mage. Fogged is going to be on the Crystal Maiden. Korok on the Queen of Pain. Chad on the Treant Protector. And leading the way up to the top lane is going to be MSS on the Beastmaster, where they may very well run directly into Boreal eSports. As Angry Testy says, GLHF in chat, Pizza Dad is leading the way for Boreal eSports on the Sand King. Angry Testy, of course, playing that Phantom Lancer. Now KVH there with the Shadow Fiend and PQ with the Zeus. The only one I haven't mentioned is Jeppins, who's going to be on the Clockwork. He's down in the bottom lane, away from all this. Same with Ush. As it looks like the two teams are just kind of scouting each other. As it doesn't look like any damage is going to be exchanged here. No wards or anything have been placed yet by the North American Rejects. We do have a Hawk getting summoned by MSS. Joe, Chad's going to exchange blows with Pizza Dad.
The battle begins.
And yeah, nothing really that big's going to happen. Korok's going to get the top bounty rune. KVH is going to get the other one. So both mids getting their runes. And interesting lanes so far coming out from the North American Rejects, as it is going to be the Beastmaster in the top lane, but it looks like the Crystal Maiden and the Treant Protector are going to hang out up here in the top lane. In the mid lane, we're going to have the Queen of Pain and the Shadow Fiend. And then in the bottom lane, this is a situation that they actually wanted to create, as we're going to have the Anti-Mage going up against the Clockwork, and this is a very heavily favored Anti-Mage lane. Of course, anytime he exchanges blows with the Clockwork, he's going to be burning a little bit of that mana, and Jeppins isn't going to have the mana to really respond. Chad taking a little bit of damage. Pizza Dad also took damage. But both of them will be okay, just burning through a little bit of each other's regen. Who has the regen advantage here? Ooh, there's a lot of regen on the side, on the Radiant side. Dire side, there's a decent amount of regen, but because Pizza Dad went with boots first, he's a little bit lacking on the regen. And as such, their tri lane is a little bit light on regen. Observer Ward actually going to get placed down there in the lane by PQ. So they're going to have a little bit more vision of what's going on, as they want to be tracking a little bit of the movements coming out from the supports as they make their way up into this area, this location. But Fogged has completely rotated away from that top lane, as he's going to go and drop into the jungle like a Crystal Maiden normally does. As she's probably just going to freeze up this big creep and help her get level 2, as she should as soon as that goes down. As for our mid lane, looks to be a little bit Queen of Pain dominated right now, but that's what you would expect. Shadow Fiend takes a little bit to get going. Oh, there is a wraparound here from Fogged as he's coming out of those jungle to put some pressure onto KVH. Won't find a kill there, and he almost backs directly into Pizza Dad and PQ, who were securing the top rune, but thinks better of it and walks back. Pizza Dad, of course, got the double damage rune there. Bounty rune in the bottom location. Korok making his rotation down there to pick that up. Surprisingly, it's Ush completely out of mana going up against Jeppins, so he obviously got pushed by Cogs a few times, but Jeppins managing to keep that mana pool up quite high. Of course, he's got a Clarity going right now. In top lane, Chad going to put that Leech Seed onto PQ. Fogged, is he going to be able to get close enough to get the freeze off? He will. PQ could very well be our first hero going down here, but Fogg could as well. But yes, PQ is going to go down. MSS gets the kill there. Angry Testy gets the kill onto Fogged. Chad taking a good amount of damage, but he'll be okay. Angry Testy's not going to be able to finish this off unless they walk into a stun here from Pizza Dad, which is a very real possibility, but no. They back away before committing too hard.
Marked my territory.
But first blood going the way of the North American Rejects, but basically immediately responded by a kill for Boreal eSports. As this aggro trial lane from the North American Rejects has been putting a decent amount of pressure onto the Phantom Lancer here, and they try to put a little bit of pressure right back as Angry Testy is pursuing Fog there, but now Pizza Dad's taking a good amount of damage. Of course, not level 2, 6 HP or XP away from that, so he doesn't have access to Sandstorm, but he will get far enough away that his life is not in the balance. Oh, I was just jumping to the mid lane to check on it. because I saw the heroes getting a little bit low, but there was an exchange there, and Korok won out as he dropped KVH. My eyes are pretty much glued to this top lane. Because they've really hurt the farm of this Phantom Lancer. Angry Tessie just sitting at 10-1 CS right now. MSS has managed to get 17-8 in this top lane, but we can't really compare the Phantom Lancer with the Beastmaster. It has to be compared with the Anti-Mage, who's sitting at the lead at 21-3. Jeppin's doing a little bit of juking and jiving to try to avoid Korok, who made a rotation down here thanks to an Invis rune. Didn't really walk through any observer wards or anything like that, but still was able to get down there and get the kill. So Jeppins will fall. Korok getting the kill there. That's going to be a second of the game. And he'll start making his way back to the mid lane. Fog now up to level 3.5. Of course, him getting some more levels under his belt is absolutely huge for the North American rejects, because that's going to allow him to get more points into the Arcane Aura if he chooses to go that route. Maybe they'll choose to put some more points in either the Frostbite or the Crystal Nova. Of course, Crystal Nova getting changed a little bit in the patch. But I have a feeling that the Aura is going to be that big go-to skill up for them. But right now, Fog just sitting at 1-1-1. KVH has recovered nicely in the mid lane, 22-11 now. He's actually beating out Korok, who's just at 19-5. But of course, Korok has not just one kill on KVH, but 2 kills as he's dropped Jeppins in the bottom lane. Now KVH in a little bit of trouble. He'll throw out 2 raises, killing some damage to Chad, but Chad had that living armor. Korok blinks on in, gets his 3rd kill of the match as KVH goes down one more time. And this is the problem with this aggressive tri-lane coming out from the North American rejects. They're really tying up the supports from Boreal, and they feel completely locked down. Of course, Zeus isn't really the best at roaming around as a support in this kind of situation. Sand King is a little bit better at it, but this aggressive tri-lane is also tying up that Sand King a little bit more. So he's not really able to sit in the jungle and get those levels going, get that farm going by farming up some stacks. And because those heroes feel locked down, the North American rejects, their supports can rotate a lot easier, and we've seen them do so a little bit already this game. As of course we had the early rotation from Fogged coming in behind KVH. Didn't really net in a kill, but it's that pressure that KVH always has to be aware of. And then of course the rotation that we just saw between Fogged and Chad, which netted in that kill on KVH. Jeppins was sent back to Fountain. He'll just TP down in there in a second, or maybe not. He is level 6. He does have hookshot available to him. He hasn't even bothered putting a point into Flare, as he knew he wasn't going to be able to use all of his skills because of the mana burn from the Anti-Mage. Fog doing a little bit of... Well, I thought he was going to do some stacking, but it's actually Jeppins that's pulling the creep wave, trying to disrupt it for him. Fog going to ward it up there on the high ground. This is actually going to help protect Ush in the bottom lane quite a bit. Similar to a lane ward that you'd normally see, no matter where they put it. You can pretty much put it anywhere down here. It doesn't really matter. It's not that critical. Ideally, what you want is it close enough to the tower to see or at least hear any TPs coming in. But the actual positioning of it isn't that important. KVH getting a kill in the mid lane onto Korok. And now Chad's just going to run up and living armor, or a leech seed him, and get the kill. Korok obviously playing a little bit too greedy there. Now PQ getting punished by MSS, but looks like, yeah, MSS will get the kill with the boards, but of course he goes down. But he didn't go down to Angry Testy. It was the neutral camps that got the kill there. So you can say great play there coming out from MSS. Maybe a little bit of luck, but advantage goes the way of the North American rejects. Now we'll have, upon respawn, Korok TPing back to the mid lane, and now KVH will also respawn and TP on in. Both heroes at level 8, almost level 9. Korok taking a bunch of damage, but blinking away, just eating the one raise. As we still haven't seen Jeppins rotate away from this bottom lane, utilizing that hook shot. PQ has made his way down to the mid lane, sensing that probably Korok's going to go for a little bit of an aggressive play onto KVH, and he wants to be in there behind him to turn around. But Fogged in behind Korok right now, and just above we've got MSS on the Beastmaster, and here comes Korok going on the aggressive. They set this up. Now will they be able to punish Korok for it? Doesn't look like it. PQ getting some good damage on Korok, but Korok's going to be able to bottle up. Hookshot flew out, and it did land onto MSS, as he's going to be trying to chase him down. Korok actually turned that around, got the kill onto PQ in the bottom rune. As Jeppins unable to find the kill here onto MSS. Fogged comes in from behind, but he wasn't checking his back as Pizza Dad and KVH comes in from behind on him. And now MSS going to look to turn around as they go on the offensive with Chad here onto KVH. It's actually a 4v2 in favor of Boreal. Chad is going to go down. So some good rotations there from North American Rejects, but better rotations from Boreal as they come out ahead when it's all said and done. 2 kills to 1. But while all that's going on, there was 5 heroes devoted to that on the side of Boreal. North American Rejects really just had 4 heroes involved as Ush was sitting in the bottom lane farming up the entire time, and looks like he's going to bring down this bottom tier 1 tower. Jeppins trying to lay down the cogs, push Ush back, and trying to get the deny on the tower, but a little bit late to do so. As Ush last hits that, gets that little extra gold in his pocket, as he's well out in front in this game right now. 71 and 17 CS. Closest challenger is going to be KVH at 55 and 11. Going to switch on over to the net worth and see just what kind of effect that's had. As Ush is our number 1 net worth in the game, 4.9, almost 5k net worth. Second is going to be Korok, 4.7. Then it's KVH at 4k, and then it is going to be Angry Testy, who's still up in the top lane farming, but that early aggro tri-lane has put him right down to 3.8k. As for the supports at this point in the game are typically where you want to look to see if there's any team significantly falling behind, as the supports are going to feel it the most, but not really much of a discrepancy. You can see North American Rejects a little bit ahead in terms of the supports, but nothing too significant, just 100 or 200 gold on either of them.
Tower is under attack.
Chad sitting in Viz, doing a little scouting. Of course, the Hawks up here as well from MSS. But we'll bring up the gold graph and see exactly where we stand. And it is the North American Rejects ahead, but just over 3,000 gold, not the most significant difference, as we're going to have a roar come out onto Angry Testy, and just like that, he gets blown up. It seems like the roar and then the nukes all came out at the same time, and he went from full to dead.
Middle tower is under attack.
Pizza Dad trying to do a little bit of stacking here so that he can farm up a little faster. But Chad's hanging out here.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
He's at least going to steal a bunch of the XP here.
Dire's structures
PQ also
are
stealing that
fortified.
XP, and now Fogged and Korok will come in as they're trying to wipe them out. They're going to get PQ. Looks like they're going to get Pizza Dad as well, as they're going to land the overgrowth on him. KVH comes in, lays down a raise, and then immediately pops an invis rune that he had bottled on up. Angry Testy also has found his way down here, as he needs to get away from that top lane, as it's been pushed by the North American Rejects. Ush coming up there to help them push it down.
Tower is under attack.
As they lose their top safe lane tower just over 12 minutes into the game. It's gonna be a tough one for them moving forward, as that means, well, the top is nowhere near as secure as you normally would like it to be, and give your safe laner a little bit more room to farm. But they'll have to adapt. They'll have to figure out how to go about it without that tower there. Immediately upon losing that, they place this observer ward, helping to secure it a little bit, but it's not really out as far as it needs to be, I'd say. The problem is that you almost need to, because you've lost that top tier 1, you almost entirely need an observer ward in the lane as well as at the top rune location. This observer ward's kind of the cheap way out, I want to say, but it's kind of the greedy way out is probably the better way of phrasing it, because that's allowed them to place another observer ward, giving them more vision on the map somewhere else. As you can devote 2 observer wards up into the top lane to try and protect your top lane, but you know, with smoke, observer wards don't mean you're entirely safe. So Angry Testy will have to rely on that observer ward vision, as well as his creep wave where he's been pushed out, where he pushes it out to, as kind of his gauge. I don't really expect him to go much past kind of up here in the lane. Korok on the hunt, has finished Dagon. Oh, he's going to jump onto PQ, throw down the Sonic Wave, but PQ's there with the magic stick. Pizza Dad stuns on in, and that'll be enough to force Korok to run away. But he'll just run down to the mid-tier 1 tower where it's already being pushed by Fogged. But I have a feeling they're just going to back away here. Jeppins doesn't really have enough mana to really do anything. He could hook shot, but then he can't lay down the cogs or battery assault. So we will just see the North American rejects back away, and this gives us a little bit of time to quickly cycle through all our heroes and see what everyone's got. Ush has picked up his Battle Fury, and he's also got a Blade of Alacrity. We've got MSS well on his way to finishing a Necro Book. Chad just doing your typical warding stuff, basically going to be upgrading to a Magic Wand as soon as he delivers on the courier. Korok managing to get the Dire Courier there. It had 975 gold worth on it. Not really sure what that was. Maybe a TP and a Void Stone. He got punished for it, so good play there from Boreal. Unfortunately, they did lose their courier, but they punished him for it. As Korok does have that Dagon, and he's also picked up a Staff of Wizardry. I'm not really sure what that Staff of Wizardry is going to build into. Of course, there's a couple options, but now we see a Belt of Strength getting picked up, so we know it's going to be a Necro Book. So the North American rejects going to go after 2 Necro Books, as they're going to want to put the pressure on early. KVH getting frozen, but he will be able to pick up that double damage, but not going to be able to use it, as he's going to get Primal Roared up. And with Fog spinning around, making it rain, or whatever, snow, it's a blizzard. I don't know how I'm supposed to transition into that. But either way, they do get the kill. The kill went to MSS though. But KVH goes down for what is his 4th death of the game. Yikes. Speaking of Fogged, with that kill, he's gonna be able to finish his 4 staff. He's got Tranquil Boots as well. Pizza Dad now just has enough to buy his Blink Dagger, and he will. As Korok and Ush looking like they were positioning themselves to potentially go for a kill there, but not going to be able to do so. KVH about to respawn, still has that double damage bottled, but he's almost done his Yule Scepter. We've had Angry Testy recovering a little bit. He's got Blade of Alacrity right now. We've seen, I think it was Angry Testy in the past, go for a Yasha and then the Diffusal. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes for that as well, or just go straight into the Diffusal.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
We got some potential action here as Korok's chasing, but we also have action in the mid lane. We've just lost Pizza Dad, so let's jump to the middle as Jeppins has been frozen up. He's already placed down the cogs. KVH is going to try to help his teammate, but he's going to get stunned by the Primal Roar coming out from MSS. Now the Overgrowth is going to land on both of them. Requiem of Soul is going to fly out. Korok's going to come in from behind. Scream of Pain, and then a right click. Another? No, he misses uphill. Oh my gosh, KVH doesn't go down until just now. Korok goes down first. Now Jeppins will be the victim of the glaives coming out, the right clicks coming out from Ush. And then he'll even be able to chase down PQ. So Boreal loses 3? 4. They lost Pizza Dad up here as well, and he just respawned. So Angry Testy, the only one not there, the only one not to die. This doesn't show the death of the Sand King. But North American rejects just losing their Queen of Pain.
What sort of prize is this?
Regeneration.
As they're definitely in the driver's seat now, and oh my goodness, look at that lead. Almost up to 12,000 gold. Just 18.5 minutes in this game. This one, I mean, in the early laning stages, obviously the North American rejects had a little bit of an advantage when you looked at all their lanes. And they certainly came out of the laning phase ahead. But since then, they've made some good rotations, and they've used that extra little gold and XP that they got out of that laning situation, and they've hit the ground running. is now our top farmer, Ush. He's well out in front, 11,100 gold net worth. And the closest challenger on Boreal's all the way down at 7,000 net worth, and that's KVH. And this is an enemy mage that's just ramping up. He's just getting going. His farm is going to explode. You haven't even hit that mark yet. Of course, KVH is on a Shadow Fiend as well, so and his farm can accelerate as well, but certainly not as fast as an Animage. As Ush will just continue to farm here. He's already broken the 200 CS mark. Been a part of 3 kills. Dropped 2 towers. Actually 3 towers, because he got the one at the top tier 1 as well. There we go. So it is a Yasha completed for Angry Tessie. Now I expect him to go after that defusal. KVH did finish his Yule Scepter. It looks like he's going to be going after BKB as his next item. Pizza Dad got that blink, but we haven't really seen him be able to use it just yet. Jeppins has gone 4 staff. Fogged. Picked up a Shadow Amulet doing some invis stuff. But he'll get stunned up by Pizza Dad here. Now Jeppins will actually get stunned by MSS, and this is going to be a turnaround here. As they manage to get the kill on both Pizza Dad and Jeppins. It seems like they're everywhere, the North American Rejects, and that's the whole point of their draft and exactly how they're trying to play it. Just be everywhere on the map, constantly punishing Boreal. And Boreal, it's going to feel really, really awkward for them. They're just going to feel like they're getting beat everywhere. There's no space. They can't go anywhere. And they're just going to have to group up and hope that they run into some heroes from the North American Rejects. The problem is if they run into the North American Rejects as 5v4 or 5v5, I feel like the North American Rejects are definitely in a better position there. Because they're just so far ahead. As now we're at 14,000 gold. As Ush can look to add to that as he's going to drop the top tier 2 tower as soon as the glyph wears off, while his allies are pushing in the mid lane on the tier 2. Fog scouting everything out with the Glimmer Cape. Will come in from behind and freeze KVH. Oh, Jeppins just off the mark with the hook shot onto Fog. But North American Rejects don't back away entirely. They just hold the high ground. They're on top of a sentry from the Dire side, but it doesn't have any vision anymore, so they have no idea. And now Ush will blink on in. He'll get tossed up in the air from KVH. Primal Roar is going to be on KVH now. And as soon as he lands, he goes down. Pizza Dad stuns on in, but no epicenter. Doesn't even have the mana to do so. He's just going to have to back away. And so will the heroes from the North American Rejects as Ush just turns around, gets a little bit of a man fight here with Jeppins, but he will go down. MSS looks to turn around and finish the kill off. He will do so with his Necrobook minions, but I don't think he's going to be able to escape KVH. Apparently he does, as the Requiem doesn't hit him there, or does very, very little damage. Maybe it was lined up with his magic wand timing. But on the other side of the fight, we did lose Fogged. I think Angry Testy managed to get the kill there as he was chasing down Fogged. Yeah, he did. So that must have happened over here somewhere. Yeah, just up here. But mid tier 2 does go down in favor of the North American Rejects. On the back of that, MSS is going to upgrade his Necrobook up to a level 3. Fogged is one rich CM right now. My goodness, 6,100 net worth. He's got a 4 staff. He's got his Glimmer Cape. This is a good position to be in as a CM. Chad halfway to his Aghanim Scepter. Korok has he's got the Necrobook at level 2. And we haven't really checked in on Ush. So he did finish his Manta, and now he's got a Vitality booster as well. Speaking of Mantas, Angry Testy just finished his. So an item coming out for Boreal eSports, and electing not to go after that Blade of the Diffusal Blade. And I think the reason why he may have chosen to do that is because they're obviously struggling a little bit. They need to be able to fight now, and if he's going to be fighting now, he's going to need a little bit of HP, and the Manta is going to provide him with that. Of course, the ultimate orb building into it. Now, North American Rejects will look to drop Roche here as it's already past half, and it doesn't look like we're going to see any kind of contention coming up from Boreal. as they were
Radiant's
smoked, but
top tower is under attack.
they'll let that expire.
Has fallen
So
to
Roche
the
does go
Radiant.
down. Ush is going to be the one to pick up the Aegis. And Boreal will back and try to find another opening here. The last fight, Pizza Dad had to jump in and get the burrow strike off in time before his ally, it was KVH, went down, but unfortunately he was a little bit slow, just barely, a little bit slow on that timing as KVH dropped almost immediately, and as such he wasn't able to get the epicenter off. Maybe he'll look to get the epicenter off this time, as North American Rejects are threatening the tier 3, but looks like they're just going to back away. So we won't have a fight, not yet. They're going to go push the mid lane, and rightfully so, Chad across the map, doing a little bit of farming in the top lane. Just 200 gold. And with a little bit of farming he's going to get in this top lane, he's going to be able to complete his Aghanim Scepter. And then we're going to have eyes in the forest. A little bit of warding here coming out from PQ. Fogged, unfortunately, wasn't able to see PQ actually place that. But now Fogged going a little bit on the offensive here. He will probably force staff himself away, then Glimmer Cape, or apparently just going to Glimmer Cape. But either way, they will dust him out. And it looks like Fogged is going to go down here. But Chad is going to be there with the overgrowth. And now Fogged will start spinning around, dropping that freezing field, but not able to do enough damage to net them a kill. KVH is actually going to get the kill on both Fogged and Chad, but in the bottom lane. The North American Rejects have claimed a kill onto Pizza Dad. It was Korok and Ush threatening that tier 3, and now they'll look to back away. Jepins places the cogs, but Korok just blinks away, and then Hail Mary hook comes out, but doesn't find the target. As the North American Rejects continue to keep this stranglehold onto Boreal eSports base. As the bottom tier 3 has gone down, the melee rack's down to about half HP. And MSS in a little bit of a battle here with Jepins. Uses the Primer Roar, gets another kill there. Bottom lane now. Ush has just delivered a heart on him, and he's in a little bit of a fight here. He's going to get the kill onto KVH, so low on HP, but he does have the Aegis, so he'll be back up as soon as he goes down, in which he does. And now he'll take down these racks. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, MSS is working on a set of racks himself. As he's going to buy a Blink Dagger and probably fly down with the courier in just a second. But Ush with that heart getting so tanky, and this one's all but over. Pizza Dad has smoked up, put himself in a little bit of a better position. Still hasn't been able to use those epicenters. As looks like the North American Rejects are all going to get out of here safely. But they're just going to move right up into the top lane. And now here comes the epicenter coming out from Pizza Dad. This is kind of their last attempt. And he's going to burrow strike onto MSS, getting him quite low. Fogged is also low, but not enough to net a kill, as that was just a level 1 epicenter. He does manage to get away without going down. But we have lost Fogged, and now we're actually going to lose MSS. This is going a little bit better for Boreal eSports, but do they have enough to bring down Ush here? I don't think so. He's just probably going to right-click down Jepins, and yeah, with Korok jumping back in, Angry Tessie's going to go down as well. And just like that, good game's going to get called by Boreal eSports, as the North American Rejects take game 1 of this best-of-3 series. As a reminder, the winner of this moves on to our grand finals. Loser will drop down to the losers bracket finals. Well, they'll be guaranteed no less than third, no less than a third place finish in this tournament. But then their entire rest of their tournament's going to lie on winning that best of 1 to try and make their way back into the grand finals. But so far, the North American Rejects do find themselves ahead 1-0 in the series. We've got the next game coming up in just a second. Once again, I'm Niz. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the cast. And if you are, hit that follow button below on twitch.tv/NizCast. Also hit me up on Twitter @NizCast and youtube.com/NizCast, where I upload all my VODs. And if you don't like the cast, let me know why you didn't. Hit me up in Twitch chat, hit me up in Twitch PM, Twitter, whatever. Find a way to get a hold of me, and I will gladly accept the criticism and the feedback, and I'll look to improve it for next cast for you. But that's going to be it for this game. I'm going to throw it to music while we wait for the next game to start. It should be less than 5 minutes. Thanks again for joining us.